The night before college orientation, my parents sent me a text. Son, we're going on a business trip for a few days. Then, taking my 7-year-old sister with them, they cleaned out every cent of the family savings and vanished off the face of the earth. For 18 years, I had never truly understood what it meant to have your world collapse until that moment. They never imagined that by backing me into a corner, their betrayal would forge a business empire. Nor did they imagine that when we met again, they would be kneeling in the rain, begging for my forgiveness like dogs. Son, Mom and Dad are away on business. Take care of yourself. Staring at the text message on my phone, which felt as pale and cold as a death warrant, I was paralyzed. My blood seemed to freeze instantly, only to rush to my head a second later, making my ears ring. I stormed in my parents' bedroom. It was empty. The closet doors were wide open. Their clothes had been swept clean. On the nightstand, the family photo, the one where they promised to drive me to campus tomorrow, stood lonely and mocking. The smiles in the picture now looked like a carefully orchestrated insult. My heart sank, and I scrambled frantically toward the drawer in my room. Inside, the $5,000 I had painstakingly saved over 3 years for tuition, gone. The manila envelope was still there, but it was empty. Even my 7-year-old sister Lily's room had been stripped clean. Her favorite doll, her little backpack, her new clothes. Everything was gone. They took my beloved sister, and they took my hope for survival. I collapsed onto the floor, the empty room filled only with the sound of my heavy breathing. 18 years. My name is Lucas Ford, and I'm 18. Growing up, I always knew my parents favored Lily. The best food, the best toys, always went to her first. I wore hand-me-downs from cousins. She wore princess dresses from the mall. I thought it was just because she was younger. I studied my heart out, got into the best university in the city, just to make them proud, just to get them to look at me. I spent my summers hauling bricks at construction sites and washing dishes at restaurants, skin peeling from the sun, just to scrape together that $5,000 for tuition and living expenses. I gave the money to my mom for safekeeping. She had smiled so widely back then, praising me for being a man, for being responsible. Now I realized that smile hid not pride, but calculation. They used my last bit of value to pave the way for their new life. Business trip, huh? Take care of yourself, huh? I laughed out loud, but as I laughed, tears began to stream uncontrollably down my face. It felt like an invisible hand was squeezing my heart, choking the breath out of me. I dug my fingernails into my palms until the sharp pain brought me back to reality. I'm not a waste of space. I cannot just fall down and die here. I picked up my phone, trembling as I dialed my father, Robert Ford. I'm sorry. The number you have reached is no longer in service. The cold, mechanical female voice was like a sledgehammer, shattering my last illusion. I called my mother, Karen. Disconnected. They had blocked me on everything, canceled their numbers, and vanished like 2 drops of water evaporating from my world. Hatred grew like a vine from the depths of my heart, wrapping around every limb. Why? Just because I'm the son? Just because I'm not the precious daughter you hold in the palm of your hand? You gave birth to me, raised me to 18, just to squeeze the last drop of value out of me and toss me away like trash. I wiped away the tears and climbed up from the floor. In the mirror stood a boy with bloodshot eyes and a twisted expression. The gentleness and expectation were gone from those eyes, replaced by bone-chilling coldness and hatred. Robert Ford, Karen Ford, Lily Ford. I chewed over these 3 names, word by word, carving them into my bones. You better pray I never see you again in this lifetime. Otherwise, I will absolutely make you pay in blood for what you did today. Tomorrow is the last day for registration. I have to go. It's the only chance I have to change my destiny. I turned the house upside down and finally found $12.75 under a jar in the kitchen. This was my entire net worth. Clenching the crumpled bills, I took a deep breath and walked out of the hollow shell that could no longer be called a home. The ink-black night swallowed my thin figure. I didn't know where the road ahead led, but I knew one thing. From today on, Lucas Ford lives only for himself. $12.75. In this bustling metropolis, that wasn't even enough for a decent meal, let alone $5,000 for tuition. I stood on the brightly lit streets of the university district, surrounded by freshmen and parents walking together, full of hope for the future. Their laughter was like needles piercing my heart. Clutching the pathetic amount of money in my pocket, I felt a helplessness that penetrated my marrow for the first time. But I couldn't give up. I walked into a 24-hour internet cafe and rented the cheapest station for the night. The thick smell of smoke and instant noodles made me cough, but it was the only shelter I could afford. I needed money. Immediately, I turned on the computer, fingers flying across the keyboard. I didn't have many skills, just a brain sharpened by endless exams. I frantically searched job boards and forums for any quick cash. Flyer distribution, $80 a day. Busboy, 15 an hour. Too slow. I wouldn't make it in time. Just as I was about to despair, a pop-up window appeared in the bottom right corner of the screen. Apex Rivals, Collegiate Esports Challenge. Open qualifiers now. Champion prize, $10,000. My eyes lit up instantly. I had played this game for 3 years. It was my only entertainment in high school. To not interfere with my studies, I only played a few hours on weekends, but my rank was already in the top 100 on the server. $10,000. Enough for tuition, with plenty left for living expenses. This was my only chance. I clicked register without hesitation. The competition was tomorrow afternoon at the downtown esports arena. I bought 2 steam buns with my remaining money and wolfed them down with the free hot water provided by the cafe. Then, I logged into my game account. I needed to warm up. I didn't sleep a wink. The next day, sporting dark circles under my eyes, but with a gaze that burned intensely, I took the bus to the esports arena. The qualifier venue was a sea of people, mostly college students my age, all with high-end gear and arrogant expressions. My faded t-shirt made me stick out like a sore thumb. Yo, buddy, you here to compete too? A guy next to me, wearing streetwear and expensive headphones with bleached blonde hair, tapped my shoulder. He looked me up and down with a sneer. Looking like that, you gonna get eliminated in round 1 or what? I ignored him and walked silently to the registration desk to give my ID. Lone Wolf. The staff member didn't even look up. When it was the blonde guy's turn, he puffed out his chest. Team King, Zach Young. The staff member immediately put on a smiling face. Oh, it's Zach from Team King. I've heard so much about you. Please, right this way. We've arranged a VIP rest area for you. Whispers broke out around us. Team King? The semi-pro team that took second in the city tournament last year. I know that Zach guy. His assassin plays are god tier. He's a favorite to win. Zach enjoyed the attention. He glanced at me, the corner of his mouth curling into a disdainful smirk, as if to say, see that? That's the difference between us. I walked expressionless to the general waiting area and found a corner to sit. I didn't care about their contempt anymore. I had only one thought in my head: win the game, get the money. The qualifier was a battle royale mode. 100 players on the same map. The last 10 survivors advance. For me, this was second nature. The match began. I was randomly spawned on the edge of the map. I didn't rush to the center to fight for resources like everyone else. Instead, I chose the safest jungling route. Using my knowledge of the terrain, I moved like a ghost, silently harvesting resources from the wild, steadily getting stronger. Soon, the player count on the map began to plummet. King Zach killed Noob 007. King Zach is on a killing spree. That blonde guy, Zach, actually had some skill. He secured several kills right at the start, building his loadout fast. I remained unmoved, calmly calculating time and resources. When the safe zone shrank to the final circle, only 15 people remained. Everyone stared nervously at their screens, hunting for enemies. But I, through my early game patience, now at top-tier gear, the opportunity arrived. I saw Zach chasing a low-health player into a complex of buildings. 2 of his teammates were following him, clearly intending to clear the area. Arrogant prick, I sneered and cut into the battlefield from an unexpected angle. Flash step, fatal strike, phantom slash. My character transformed into a black bolt of lightning, instantly appearing in the center of the Team King formation. On the screen, blades flashed. Zach didn't even have time to react before his screen turned gray. Triple kill. The system's cold announcement echoed through the arena. The entire venue went dead silent. Everyone stared dumbfounded at the replay on the big screen. The player with the ID, Lone Wolf, had single-handedly instant-killed the 3 main players of the favorite Team King. Holy SHD, who is that guy? That movement, that hand speed, is he a pro? The audience members who had just been sniffing at me now looked at me with shock and disbelief. Zach shot up from his seat, his face ashen, staring daggers at me with pure venom in his eyes. I didn't look at him, I just cracked my knuckles. This was just the beginning. By the end of the qualifier, I took first place with the highest kill count. No contest. Zach and his Team King were eliminated because they were wiped out by me too early to get enough points. When I walked down from the player booth, Zach and his 2 teammates blocked my path aggressively. Kid, did you do that on purpose? Zach's face was twisted with rage, pointing a finger at my nose. Do you know who we are? You dare ambush Team King? Do you want to get blacklisted from a scene? I looked at his arrogant face and found it almost funny. You lose a match and blame someone for ambushing you? Sore loser. I didn't want to waste breath on him. I tried to walk around. Hold it. Zach grabbed my shoulder. I'm talking to you. Don't play dumb. He was strong, and his grip hurt. My eyes went cold. I turned, looked him in the eye, and said word by word, let go. My voice wasn't loud, but it carried an undeniable chill. Zach was taken aback for a second, then flew into a rage from embarrassment. Hey, you broke-ass punk, you trying to act tough? Believe it or not, I'll make sure you don't walk out of here today. His two teammates closed in, cracking their knuckles, looking malicious. The surrounding audience watched from a distance. No one dared to intervene. Just then, a middle-aged man in a suit, looking like a manager, walked over quickly. Zach, calm down, what's going on? The manager was all smiles, immediately handing Zach a cigarette. Zach took a drag, and pointed at me. Manager Miller, how do you run this tournament? Letting any stray dog participate? This kid targeted us in the game, and now he's giving me attitude. How are we going to handle this? Manager Miller glanced at me with a flicker of disdain, then turned back to Zach with a smile. Don't worry, Zach. I'll give you an explanation. We'll disqualify him immediately and blacklist him. He won't be allowed in any competition we host ever again. Disqualify me? My heart sank. What about my $10,000? What about my tuition? Zach smiled triumphantly, blowing a smoke ring into my face. Hear that, kid? This is what happens when you cross me. Now, get on your knees and apologize, and maybe I'll be in a good mood and tell Miller to let you off easy. The crowd erupted in laughter. I looked at Manager Miller's bootlicking face and Zach's arrogant expression, and a rage surged from my chest. This world is so unfair. Money and power let you twist the truth and do whatever you want. And because I have neither, even what I earn with my own skill can be easily stripped away. Why? I clenched my fists so hard my nails pierced my palm, the pain keeping me rational. I couldn't fight here. If I fought, I was done. I looked at Zach and suddenly smiled. You want me to kneel? I shook my head. You're not worth it. I turned to leave. You ungrateful little SHD. Zach exploded. He threw his cigarette on the ground and kicked at my back. I was ready for it. The moment he moved, I dodged to the side. Zach kicked empty air, lost his balance, and stumbled forward. He fell straight into a massive LED screen wall set up for promotions. Crash! A loud noise accompanied the sound of shattering glass. Zach slammed into the screen. The expensive display instantly went black, cracks spreading like a spiderweb. The arena went dead silent again. Everyone was stunned by the sudden turn of events. Manager Miller's face went sheet white. His lips trembled as he pointed at the screen, unable to form words. That screen, imported from Germany. $50,000. 50,000. Zach was dumbfounded too. He scrambled up, looking at the disaster he caused, blood draining from his face. His family had some money, but 50 grand was enough for his dad to break his legs. He suddenly spun around, pointing at me like a madman, screaming at Miller. It's not my fault. It's him. He dodged on purpose and made me hit it. He did it. Miller, grabbing at a lifeline, immediately chimed in. Right. It was him. Security. Security, get over here. Grab this vandal. Send him to the police station. Several security guards rushed over. I looked at these two men trying to pin the blame on me, feeling a cold, murderous intent. Trying to make me the scapegoat. You think you can? I spoke coldly. There are cameras everywhere. Who did it will be clear in a second. One sentence, and both Zach and Miller froze. They realized the arena had 360-degree surveillance. Zach's eyes began to panic. He hadn't expected a broke-looking kid to stay so calm. Just then, a cool female voice came from behind the crowd. Manager Miller, what is happening here? The crowd parted, and a young woman in a business suit with a sharp, professional aura walked in. She was stunningly beautiful, but her expression was as cold as an iceberg. Miller saw her, and his legs started shaking. He bowed quickly. MS. Sterling, what are you doing here? Ms. Sterling, I saw the badge on her chest. Tournament Director, Victoria Sterling. She was the one really in charge. Victoria ignored Miller. Her gaze swept the scene and landed on me, frowning slightly. Zach acted like he saw a savior. He rushed over, embellishing the story to clear himself and dump everything on me. Ms. Sterling, it's this kid. He lost and held a grudge, provoked me, and deliberately destroyed the screen. You have to help me. Victoria listened. Expressionless. Is that so? She turned to me, eyes sharp as knives. Is what he said true? I met her gaze, neither humble nor arrogant. I'll only say 3 things. First, I didn't lose. I took first place. Second, he attacked first. I only dodged in self-defense. Third, there are cameras. My words were concise, but powerful. A flicker of approval flashed in Victoria's eyes. She turned to Miller and said coldly, "Go pull the footage." Miller broke into a cold sweat. He stammered, "Ms. Sterling, the cameras. The control room is undergoing maintenance today, so—" "Maintenance?" Victoria's voice raised a pitch, her eyes growing colder. What a coincidence. Hell, what a clumsy lie. I sneered internally. Miller was determined to collude with Zach and pin this black pot on my head. Seeing this, Zach got bolder. "See, Ms. Sterling? He's a scoundrel. No money, no power, breaks stuff, and can't pay. So he tries to lie. People like him should be sent straight to jail." The audience began to whisper, looking at me with suspicion and disdain. Guess he really did it. Otherwise, why would the manager side with the other guy? Being poor is a sin. Can't pay, yet causing trouble. He's screwed. I clenched my fists, feeling the malice from all sides. Just when I thought I was defenseless, Victoria spoke. No need for the footage. Her words made Miller and Zach light up. "I believe him." Victoria pointed a slender finger at me. The crowd went into an uproar. No one expected the high and mighty director to side with a seemingly destitute kid. Miller panicked. "Ms. Sterling, this can't be. That screen is 50 grand. How can a poor student pay for it?" Zach yelled, "Ms. Sterling, don't be fooled by him. He's a liar." "Shut up," Victoria shouted coldly, her powerful aura silencing everyone. She walked up to Zach, looking at him like he was trash. "Team King, right? I'll remember you. From today on, your name will not appear in any tournament hosted by my company. Also," she paused, turning her gaze to Miller. "You, don't bother coming to work tomorrow." Miller looked like he'd been struck by lightning. He slumped, face gray as ash. Zach was completely dumbfounded. He couldn't understand why the CEO would go this far for an irrelevant poor kid. Having dealt with them, Victoria turned to me. "You, come to my office." I followed her through the crowd toward the backstage office. I could feel the gazes behind me shifting from disdain to awe and curiosity. The office was simple. A desk, 2 chairs. Victoria signaled for me to sit, then pulled a contract from a drawer and slid it across to me. "This is a pro player contract for our company," she said directly. "I'll watch a match. Your mechanics and game sense are top tier. I'm offering you an S-class contract. $10,000 a month, $50,000 signing bonus. Plus, the company will handle your schedule so you can balance training and college. $10,000 a month, $50,000 signing bonus." I stared at the zeros on the contract, feeling like I was dreaming. This money wouldn't just cover tuition. It would completely pull me out of the abyss. I looked up puzzled. Why? We were strangers. Why offer such generous terms? Victoria took a sip of her coffee and spoke slowly. "No reason. I needed a top player, and you showed up." And she looked at me with a hint of curiosity. "I hate bullies, and I appreciated the look in your eyes earlier. There was defiance, anger, but no fear. People like you either crash and burn or soar to the sky. I like to gamble. I want to bet on you." So that was it. An investment. I was silent for a moment, then picked up the pen, but I didn't sign immediately. I looked at her seriously. "I can sign, but I have one condition." Victoria raised an eyebrow. "Speak." "The 50,000 signing bonus. I need it today. I need to pay tuition." This was my most urgent need. Victoria smiled. The iceberg melted instantly, revealing a breathtaking beauty. "Of course." She agreed readily. "Sign, and finance will transfer it immediately." I didn't hesitate anymore. At the bottom of the contract, I signed Lucas Ford. My hand was steady. I knew that from this moment, my life had changed forever. After signing, Victoria called finance right in front of me. Less than 5 minutes later, my phone buzzed with a bank notification. "Your account ending in XXXX has received a deposit of $50,000. Staring at the string of zeros, my eyes felt hot. I had finally, on my own, grabbed a lifeline. "Thank you, Ms. Sterling." I stood up and bowed deeply. "Don't thank me. You earned it." Victoria waved her hand. "Go register for school tomorrow. Once you're settled, report to the company. Remember, from today on, you represent Velocity Esports. Don't let people push you around." I nodded firmly. Walking out of the arena, the sun was shining. I looked up at the sky and exhaled a long breath. "Robert, Karen, you never expected this, did you? You pushed me into the abyss, but someone gave me wings. You took 5,000, but I just made 50,000 in the blink of an eye. Just wait. I will settle our debts, principal and interest." The next day, with a brand new bank card in my pocket, I stepped through the gates of Metro University. Tuition, books, dorm assignment, everything went incredibly smoothly. My dorm was on the third floor, a quad. When I opened the door, two guys were already there. One with glasses, looking bookish, was burying his head in a book. The other was a heavy-set guy lying on his bed, eating chips and watching a stream on his phone, laughing so hard the bed shook. Yo, new roommate? The big guy saw me and greeted me enthusiastically, offering the chip bag. I'm Kevin Brooks, call me Big Kev. You? Lucas Ford. I smiled and took a chip. I'm Chris Moore. The bookish guy pushed up his glasses and nodded. After brief introductions, I started unpacking. My luggage was simple, just a backpack with a few changes of clothes. Big Kev saw how little I had and asked curiously, Lucas, your parents didn't drop you off? At the mention of parents, my heart felt pricked. I froze. I lowered my head to hide my emotions and said flatly, they're busy. Oh. Big Kev didn't notice anything wrong and continued loudly. Let me tell you, dorm life is sweet. No parents, no rules. No one to nag me about gaming. Hey Lucas, you play Apex Rivals? We should squat up later. Sure, I nodded. That afternoon, the three of us went to the dining hall. Big Kev was a social butterfly. He didn't stop talking the whole way, from campus gossip to the latest game news. The vibe was good. After eating, we returned to the dorm, ready for our first squad session. Just then, my phone rang. It was a local number I didn't recognize. I hesitated, but picked up. Hello, is this Lucas? A middle-aged man's cautious voice came through. I paused. This is he. Who is this? Oh, Lucas. It's your Uncle Gary. Don't you remember me? The man's voice instantly turned enthusiastic. You came to college and didn't tell a family? Your Aunt Patricia has been talking about you. We're right outside your campus gate. Come out. Uncle Gary is taking you to a nice dinner to celebrate. Uncle Gary? A snobbish face floated in my mind. My dad had two brothers. Uncle Gary Ford was the successful one. He ran a small renovation company, bought a house and a car, and always acted high and mighty in front of us poor relatives. Usually, during holidays, he wouldn't even look at us directly, and his gifts were always the cheapest. Why was he suddenly so enthusiastic? No one offers charity without a motive. I sneered internally but kept my voice steady. Uncle Gary, no need. I just ate. Is something wrong? Oh, you kid. Why so polite with your uncle? Gary acted like he didn't hear my distance. Your parents, honestly, such a big day. First day of college, and they didn't come? Their phones are off too, worried us sick. Come out, let's talk as a family. Did they finally find out my parents ran? My heart skipped a beat. I decided to meet them. I wanted to see what angle they were playing. All right, where are you? Right across from Southgate at the Gilded Truffle. We booked a private room. Hanging up, I told Big Kev and Chris I had business and left the dorm. The Gilded Truffle was the fanciest restaurant near campus. Usually, only rich parents took their kids there. As soon as I walked in, I saw Uncle Gary's family of three sitting on the lobby sofa. Uncle Gary, Aunt Patricia, and their son, my cousin Gavin Ford. Gavin was a year younger than me, had dyed hair, and was playing on his phone impatiently. He didn't even look up when I entered. Lucas is here. Seat. Gary saw me and immediately rushed over with a face full of smiles, grabbing my arm affectionately like we were best friends. Aunt Patricia dropped her usual mean demeanor and squeezed out a smile. Lucas, let Annie look at you. You've grown into a fine young man. Coming to register alone must have been hard, right? I was uncomfortable with this sudden warmth. I pulled my hand back subtly. It was fine. Waiter, serve the food. Gary shouted generously. Soon, a table full of expensive dishes arrived. After a few rounds of drinks, Gary finally showed his foxtail. Lucas, he put a rib on my plate, speaking with gravitas. About your parents. We heard. They really aren't decent people doing something like that. Don't worry, from now on, you're Gary Ford's son. With Uncle here, you won't suffer. I sneered internally, staying silent and eating. Aunt Patricia chimed in. Yes, Lucas, your parents don't want you, but we do. You can move into our house, share a room with Gavin. We'll cover your tuition and living expenses. Cover everything? They were that kind. I watched them sing their duet and instantly understood. They didn't pity me. They wanted the house my parents left behind. Our old house wasn't big, but the location was prime, right in the middle of the city's new commercial zoning plan. There were rumors of demolition soon. Based on compensation standards, it would be worth at least $300,000. With my parents fleeing with the cash, I was the only legal heir to the property. They wanted to control me with petty favors to legally seize that demolition money. What a calculation. I put down my chopsticks, looked at them, and smiled. Uncle Gary, Aunt Patricia, I appreciate the offer. I wiped my mouth and spoke slowly. But I've already paid my tuition. No need for you to worry. Hey, Gary and Patricia froze. They exchanged a look of disbelief. Lucas, don't joke with your uncle. Gary laughed dryly. Your parents took all the money. Where did you get 5 grand? Gavin finally looked up, scoffing. Bro, you didn't go to a loan shark, did you? I'm telling you, you can't touch that stuff. It kills people. I looked at their ugly faces, too tired to keep acting. I pulled out my phone, opened the bank notification, and placed it in the center of the table. Is 50,000 enough? In the center of the table, my phone screen glowed. The glaring $50,000 inch was like a slap in the face to Gary's family. The room went silent, save for the sound of Gavin sucking in a breath. 50,000. Gary and Patricia's eyes nearly popped out. They leaned in, scrutinizing the text to make sure it wasn't photoshopped. Lucas, where did this money come from? Gary's voice cracked, his smile turning stiff and greedy. Patricia's eyes glittered. She grabbed my hand urgently. Lucas, tell Annie the truth. Did your parents secretly leave this for you? Heh, even now, thinking about that money, I felt nothing but contempt. I pulled my hand back. No, I earned this myself. You earned it. Gavin laughed like he heard the world's biggest joke. Bro, stop kidding me. You're a broke high school grad. Hauling bricks for 3 months gets you 50 grand? Why don't you just say you won the lottery? His words were full of undisguised mockery and jealousy. In their eyes, I, Lucas Ford, should be a pathetic worm abandoned by his parents, waiting for them to exploit. My sudden wealth shattered their worldview and made them feel a loss of control. Gary's face darkened. He tapped the table, putting on his elder airs. Lucas, tell us the truth. Is this money clean? You're young. Don't get tricked into doing something illegal. Exactly. Patricia added. If you did something criminal, we can't be responsible. Don't drag our Gavin into it. They echoed each other, implying my money was dirty, trying to use elderly concern to interrogate me. I looked at their hypocritical faces and felt sick. I stood up. I'm done eating. Thanks for the meal. If there's nothing else, I'm heading back to campus. Sit down. Gary shot up, face turning purple. Lucas, what is this attitude? We are concerned about you out of the goodness of our hearts, and this is how you talk to your elders. Didn't your parents teach you manners? He brought up my parents again. That ignited the rage in my heart. I spun around, staring dead at him, my gaze cold enough to freeze him. Manners? I sneered, voice quiet but piercing. My parents taught me manners meant not pouncing like a dog whenever you smell money. You little animal. You dare curse at me? Gary shook with rage, his pointing finger trembling. I'm cursing exactly you. I stepped closer, imposing. Don't think I don't know your plan. Want my house's demolition money? Keep dreaming. Even if that house is torn down to rubble, you won't get a single brick. Your parents ran. You're just an unwanted stray now. We offered to take you in, and you're ungrateful. Patricia tore off her mask, screeching. Take me in. I laughed louder. You want to fatten me up like a pig to slaughter for the house money. Put away your disgusting faces. From today on, our families are done. If we see each other on the street, pretend we're strangers. I turned to leave, ignoring their twisted faces. Rebellion. Rebellion. What an ungrateful wolf. Gary roared behind me. Gavin chased me out, blocking my path, looking fierce. Lucas, clarify what the hell you meant. Who are you to talk to my parents like that? I looked at my spoiled cousin with zero warmth. Move. I won't. Apologize to my parents, or you're not leaving. Gavin, bigger than me, felt confident. I took a deep breath, suppressing the violence. I couldn't fight now. I just stared at him and said, I'll say it one last time. Move, or face the consequences. My eyes must have looked like a demon's. Gavin felt a chill and stepped back instinctively, but kept his mouth tough. What are you going to do? My dad is. Just then, my phone rang. It was Victoria. I picked up, tone instantly respectful. Hello, Ms. Sterling. Lucas, where are you? I'm passing by your university. Thought I'd discuss team matters. I'm right at the gilded truffle across from the south gate. Okay, wait there. 5 minutes. Hanging up, I saw Gavin sneering. Ms. Sterling? Sounds affectionate. What? Found a sugar mama, bro. So that's where the 50 grand came from. You're a gigolo. Embarrassing the family. His words were insulting. I didn't get angry. I smiled. Ignorant fool. You have no idea who you're facing. I crossed my arms, leaned against the wall, and said, all right, stick around and see how this gigolo makes the family proud. 5 minutes later, a fiery red Ferrari drifted beautifully to a stop in front of the restaurant. The flashy color and sleek lines drew every eye on the street. The door opened, and Victoria stepped out. She wore a black fitted dress that outlined her perfect figure, combined with her stunning, cold face. She was instantly the center of attention. Gavin's eyes practically popped out, drool nearly hitting the floor. Seen enough? I asked coldly. Gavin snapped back, watching Victoria walk straight to me. His expression went from awe to jealousy to disbelief. Ms. Sterling, he stammered. He recognized her. Victoria, as CEO of Velocity Esports, was often in business magazines and gaming news. Victoria walked up to me, frowning. What's going on? You look annoyed. And she glanced at Gavin like she just noticed him. Who is this? I'm his cousin, Gavin said nervously, shooting me a provocative look to show off our relation. Oh, Victoria looked between us, then smirked mockingly. Before Gavin could react, Gary and Patricia chased us out. Seeing the Ferrari and Victoria, they froze. This is, Gary stammered. CEO of Velocity Esports, Victoria Sterling. I answered for him. Then to Victoria, this is my Uncle Gary and Aunt Patricia. Hearing CEO, Gary's eyes lit up. He didn't know esports, but he knew Ferraris meant power. He put on a fawning smile and extended a hand. Oh, my CEO, Sterling. An honor. I'm Lucas's Uncle Gary. The kid is clumsy. If he offended you, please forgive him. Victoria didn't shake his hand. She looked at him coldly. You're the uncle trying to steal Lucas's demolition money. Her words were a bomb. Gary's smile froze, his hand hanging awkwardly in midair. Ms. Sterling, who told you such nonsense? Gary sweated, face flushing. We just pity the kid, wanted to help. Why would he want his house? Really? Victoria chuckled, full of disdain. I heard everything on the phone earlier. Unwanted stray, ungrateful wolf, very colorful language. I realized Victoria hadn't hung up earlier. She heard everything. Gary and Patricia looked like they ate a lemon. They never expected a VIP to overhear their abuse. Ms. Sterling, misunderstanding. Just a joke with the kid. Joke? Victoria's eyes went ice cold. You think you're worthy of joking with my people? She took a step forward, her aura forcing them back. Lucas Ford is a signed S-Class player for Velocity Esports. A key asset. His business is my business. Her voice was quiet but heavy. I don't care about your past relations. From today on, if you harass him or touch his property, don't blame me for being unkind. S-Class. Gary's family was stunned. Even if they didn't get gaming, S-Class sounded expensive. Gavin was green with envy. He dreamed of going pro, but couldn't even make a trainee squad. And Lucas, who he despised, was S-Class. Ms. Sterling, mistake right. Him? A bro. Shut up. Gary glared at his son. He wasn't stupid. Victoria was protecting Lucas. Offending her meant offending big money. He squeezed out an ugly smile and bowed. Yes, Ms. Sterling is right. We were blind. We won't dare again. Scram. Victoria waved her hand like swatting flies. Gary grabbed his stunned wife and son, scrambled into their domestic sedan, and fled. Watching them flee, I felt a rush of satisfaction. This was the confidence power brought. Thank you, Ms. Sterling, I said sincerely. Get in. Victoria opened the passenger door. Sitting in the Ferrari, smelling the leather and perfume, I felt dazed. Yesterday, I was destitute. Today, I was in a supercar with a powerful ally. Life is strange. What does your uncle do? Victoria asked while driving. Small renovation company. Gary's Interiors or something. Victoria nodded, sent a few texts, and drove to a high-end steakhouse. Want to make it pay a price? She asked while cutting her steak. I froze, then nodded heavily. Yes. Mercy to vampires is cruelty to oneself. Victoria smiled and made a call. Hello, Mr. Harrison. It's Victoria. You have a luxury condo project bidding for interiors. I recommend Gary's Interiors. Yes, give them a project. Make the contract big advance. You know what to do next. She hung up and winked. Wait a week. Enjoy the show. 1 week later, while gaming with Kevin, Uncle Gary called. His voice was manic with joy. Lucas. Ha ha ha. Uncle is rich. I got a huge contract. The Royal Gardens project. The developer gave me the whole interior contract. $3 million. I held the phone, smirking coldly. The fish took the bait. Really? Congrats. Haha. All thanks to you. Developer Mr. Harrison said it was for Ms. Sterling Sake. Lucas, you're the family's lucky star. Now I was family again. Uncle will buy you a car when this is done. I brushed him off. A few days later, Gary was the talk of the relatives. $3 million contract. He took out loans, bought a Mercedes, and threw a massive banquet at the most expensive hotel to show off. Even my snobbish grandmother called, telling me to be close to Uncle Gary. I felt sick but agreed to go because Victoria texted, Go. The show is starting. At the banquet, Gary was in a designer suit, surrounded by flatterers. Gavin looked smug. When I entered, the room went quiet, eyes mixed with jealousy and mockery. Gary walked over, patting my shoulder fake affectionately. Lucas, look, the Ford family isn't to be bullied. Your parents are useless, but with Uncle here, we rise. He praised himself while stepping on my parents. I sat in the corner, silently. Halfway through the meal, Gary turned on me. Lucas, he slurred, drunk. I know you're mad about your parents. But don't take it out on family. Last time you spoke to me, it broke my heart. Yeah, Lucas, apologize to your uncle. Relatives chimed in. Just then, Gary's phone rang. He put it on speaker, looking smug. Mr. Harrison, ha ha ha. Eating with family. Don't worry, workers start tomorrow. A cold voice came through. Mr. Ford, I'm calling to notify you. We've reevaluated and are terminating cooperation with your company. Per the contract, we will pay the 10% cancellation fee. $52. Come process it tomorrow. WH. What? Gary froze. The room went silent. Mr. Harrison. Joking right. Contract is signed. Company decision. Also, friendly advice. If you offend the wrong people, be ready for the consequences. Click. Gary stood like a statue. $3 million gone. He had taken massive loans for equipment and labor. $30,000 wouldn't cover a fraction of the debt. He was ruined. Relatives backed away like he was the plague. I stood up, walked him, poured a glass of wine, and handed it to him. Uncle, don't be discouraged. Young people shouldn't be too arrogant. Without my support, society is hard. I returned his words. He looked up, eyes bloodshot, realizing, You did this. He screamed. I didn't answer. I just splashed the wine into his face. Ah! Patricia screamed. Gary lunged at me. I stepped aside and tripped him. He crashed down, his new Mercedes keys sliding out. I picked it up, tapped his face with it. Uncle, you can't afford this car anymore. Sell it for debt. I threw the key into a steaming tureen of soup on the table. Plop. Then I walked out, leaving chaos behind. Outside, the wind was cool. I felt free. How was it? Victoria asked from her car. Good, I said. Just an appetizer. She started the engine. Your uncle is done. What's next? I want to find them. My parents. The real traitors. Okay, I'll help. 3 months later, I was Velocity's secret weapon. My skills grew exponentially. Then, Victoria handed me a file. Found them. They're in Miami. Dad's a manager at a trade firm. Mom's a housewife. Sister is in a top private school. I opened the file. Photos. Robert in a suit. Karen with designer bags. Lily in a princess dress, smiling. A happy family on the beach. As if I never existed. In the photo, Lily wore a platinum necklace. I recognized it. I bought that with my first paycheck, lied, and said it was cheap. Now she wore it while betraying me. I tore the photo up. Booked me a flight to Miami. Miami. Beautiful beaches. I went to their fancy gated community, Ocean View. I waited at a cafe. A white BMW drove out. Robert driving, Karen passenger, Lily in back. They stopped at Gilded Age Academy. Lily hugged a teacher. They looked so happy. I took a picture. I found the company, Horizon Trade. The next day, wearing a suit Victoria prepared, I walked into Horizon Trade. I called Victoria. Start. I walked to the front desk. I'm looking for the owner, David Harrison. Not related to the previous Harrison. Do you have an appointment? No. Tell him Velocity Esports is here. Suddenly, a voice. Lucas. I turned. Robert Ford stood there, terrified. How did you find us? He pulled me to a corner. I'm here to see how you're doing. I smiled. Driving a BMW. Living in a mansion. Spending my money well. That was our money, he hissed. My $5,000 was mine. My blood money. I turned cold. A manager walked by. Robert, the boss needs you. A VIP is here. Robert glared at me. Wait here. I ignored him and went to the front desk. Take me to the top floor. The receptionist received a call and looked at me with awe. Mr. Ford, please. I walked into the CEO's office. Robert was pouring tea for David Harrison like a servant. David stood up, beaming. Mr. Lucas Ford. Welcome, Ms. Sterling told me everything. Robert turned to stone. His boss was bowing to his abandoned son. Who is this? I asked, pointing at Robert. Oh, our manager, Robert. Robert, greet Mr. Ford. He's Ms. Sterling's VIP. Robert was stiff. Mr. Ford. He rasped. Manager Ford, I drawled. You look familiar. David sensed the tension. Robert, apologized to Mr. Ford if you offended him. Robert couldn't speak. Seems he's unwilling. I sipped tea. Robert, David kicked him. Apologize or you're fired. Robert trembled. Finally, he bowed deep. I felt a sick pleasure. Mr. Harrison, I said, I want to acquire your company. What? Both shouted. Here's a check for $15 million. Down payment. My lawyers will handle the rest. The check with the Velocity logo destroyed Robert. He collapsed. Impossible. David looked at the check. Deal. Horizon is yours, Mr. Chairman. I walked to Robert. Manager Ford. As the new owner. You're fired. No. Robert screamed, trying to grab my leg. I kicked him away. Why? I'm your father. My father died the night you left me. I signaled security. They dragged him out like a dead dog. Selling the company was quick. I was the new chairman. Robert was unemployed and blacklisted in Miami thanks to David. I bugged their house. I heard the fighting. Useless trash. Lost your job. Karen screamed. You think I wanted to? It's your son. My son? You wanted to leave him. They were running out of money. The BMW was repossessed. They sold furniture. Then, the opportunity came. Gilded Age Academy's parent-child sports day. Mandatory attendance. Karen rented a gown to show off. I received a VIP invite as the school's biggest sponsor via Horizon Trade. On the day, I sat center stage in an Armani suit. I saw Karen and Lily. Karen was bragging to other moms. The principal announced, "Please welcome our biggest sponsor, Chairman of Horizon Trade, Mr. Lucas Ford." Karen froze. She looked up. Our eyes met. Her face went white. I smiled into the mic. "Hello, everyone. I am Lucas Ford." I walked off stage toward her. The crowd parted. I stood in front of her. She was shaking. "Ma'am, you look familiar," I said. Lily looked up. "Big brother. You have a brother?" I asked. "Yes. He went away. Mom said he didn't want us." Words that killed. Karen pulled Lily behind her. "What do you want?" "Nothing." I leaned in. "That necklace. I moved 300 tons of cement to buy that. You don't deserve it." I ripped it off her neck. Snap. "Ah!" She screamed. Security rushed in. I threw the necklace in the trash. I'd rather trash it than let a traitor wear it. I turned to the crowd. As the new board member, I declare this school has a problem. A school that can't teach honesty isn't needed. I am pulling all funding and calling for investigation into the administration. The crowd went wild. The principal fainted. The parents turned on Karen. "Get her out. She ruined it." Karen and Lily were chased out like rats. The video went viral. They were doxxed. "Get out of Miami," painted on their door. Lily was expelled. They were evicted. They moved to a basement. I watched from my car as they fought in the street. A week later, it rained. They came to my office. Soaking wet. They knelt. "Lucas, we're sorry. We're animals. Please." Robert cried. "Lucas, I'm your mom. Spare Lily." Karen begged. "Brother." Lily cried. I drank my coffee. "Innocent? When you left me to starve, was I innocent? When you lived in luxury while I worked construction, did you care?" They went pale. Saudi. Too late. I poured my hot coffee on Robert's head. "Act," he screamed. "Remember this pain. Get out of Miami. Next time it's acid." They fled in terror. I breathed out. The hate was gone. It was over. The rain stopped. A rainbow appeared. Victoria called. "Done. Done. Come back. The team needs you. And I need a vice president." I smiled. "Coming." I looked at the sky. Goodbye, Miami. Goodbye, past. Hello, future.